Can I make a usable fired object from my local clay? This is the Trust Repair Shop. It's a project about understanding the world firsthand. I'm not an expert, I'm just curious. I'm on a 30-week speed run to recreate important technologies and discoveries for myself, and I'm doing that so I don't have to take anybody's word for it. Pottery matters because it turns earth into durable tools. That could be dishes or containers or tiles, and eventually a pathway to higher temperature materials. So the basic question that I'm testing here is, can I use fire to make clay that I extract from local soils into more durable tools? In the last episode, I collected clay-rich soil and I separated out workable clay. Now I want to see whether that clay can be shaped and fired enough to become something more useful. I started with the purified clay from the last episode. I dried it, I broke it down with a hammer and ground it into powder with a stone. Some of the coarse clay pieces remain because I didn't grind everything to consistent powder. I mixed in sand as temper, aiming for about 1 part temper to 4 parts clay, but the final mix was probably more like 1 to 5. And then I slowly added water and kneaded until the clay was workable. I shaped 2 small dish container type pieces and then 2 rough spoon shaped test tiles. These pieces, they were not uniform in thickness. Wax paper ended up being really useful for grinding because it kept the powder and the clay from spreading over and sticking to the work surface. I sun-dried the pieces for about 8 hours, and then I kept 1 of each type as an air-dried control. The pieces were sun-dried quickly instead of slowly air-drying over a much longer period, which would have been ideal. For firing, I built a small campfire. I let the coals warm up. I had some help from my buddy. We placed the test pieces directly into the flame. I covered them with hot coals and I sustained the fire for about 2 hours, and I left everything to cool overnight. So the results are the fired pieces, they didn't visibly crack or warp. The color changed from gray to light red or pink. So that suggests that the temper and the drying, these were good enough for these small pieces. The hardness was a little bit less dramatic. The fired clay, it felt a little bit harder and lighter, but tapping it and razor scratching it, it didn't really show a big difference between the two materials. Both snapped and both scratched. The water test was the real result. After about 1 minute submerged and agitated, the air-dried control began dissolving. The fired clay, it showed no obvious effect. So the answer is yes, in at least one important way. Firing made the clay more durable by making it much more water resistant. I didn't make a great dish or even a very strong one, but I did take clay from a local environment, mold it into a utensil shape, and with fire, I made it a little bit more durable than the air-dried version.